So, the other big story, arguably the big story of the moment in politics, DA leader John Steenhuisen expected to hold a media briefing in a couple minutes' time in Durban to address what he highlights as matters of national importance and public interest. The briefing follows emerging reports that Steenhuisen might not seek re-election as the leader of the DA. He's been at the helm for about 2 terms now. His political career started in Durban now 3 decades ago. Let's take stock of this moment, bring in SABC News editor, that's politics editor, Mzwandile Mbeje, who's with us in studio. It feels like it's a moment in history in the making. Good to see you, Zwai. Thanks for popping by.
Thank you.
Tony Leon has spoken even on this channel. Okay. And essentially, the picture he paints, Tony Leon, of course, the founding member of the DA, saying, you know, look, even if John Steenhuisen leaves, it's not the worst thing that could happen to the Democratic Alliance. It's happened before, and each time a leader leaves, there's a bit of a rejuvenation in the organization. I wonder if you reckon that's how people see it.
Well, within the DA, there definitely are those who will see it that way, given that we already were witnessing some of the battles in the factions. In fact, the fact that a couple of weeks ago you had a senior member of the DA leave the party and also accusing directly someone like John Steenhuisen. So that tells you that all is not well. So perhaps this could be seen as a new start, as Tony Leon may have said. So clearly, the DA, with its structures and perhaps with what it wants to do, it may then want to use this opportunity as a new beginning.
If he does leave, it's important to, of course, take stock of the circumstances under which that happens. Tony Leon resigned of his own will. Helen Ziller resigned of her own will. Musi Maimane, I don't know, who can ever forget that briefing he gave? I remember very clearly he stood on a plain white wall and announced that the DA is no longer the vehicle to essentially take South Africa forward. We get a sense he was certainly pushed out. And John Steenhuisen, as you say, given the ruptures that we've seen, it'll be interesting to find out under what circumstances he's leaving. Is it of his own accord or is he being pushed out?
I think why he is doing this, I think announcing his decision 2 months before the Congress, he basically wants to control the narrative, to basically say, given that there are these issues and developments around the DA, so I would rather put the party's interest ahead of my interest. So that somehow does give him a bit of some sort of a goodwill to say, here is someone, when the party was faced with challenges, then he decided that he must put the interests of the party forward. But of course, we do know that it is to do with a number of factors since the party joined the GNU. So I guess the intricacies and the complexities of being part of the GNU, which means access to state resources, because guess what? Part of what is being accused of is abusing the resources of the state, true or not, but those are some of the things that you have to deal with. So it's a bit easier when you are completely outside and then you can just say and shout. But once you are part of everything that is happening, so there are trappings there, there are intricacies there are difficulties there that you have to deal with. So, and also, Ayanda, you would know that in politics, as much as we all, they all talk about serving the interests of everyone else, but you know what? Their own interests also matter. So somehow that clash that you'll see will manifest in that way. In fact, as soon as the GNU was set up, there were already complaints from certain sectors that he had picked the people who are more aligned to him versus the people who just were part of the DA. So clearly that was always bound to create these kinds of divisions. But of course, in the next few minutes, so he will be able to tell us exactly what decision he is taking. Of course, our sources do indicate that he has decided to perhaps not contest, but we know that there were also meetings as recently as I think last night and even this morning about this issue. Is it possible some may have been trying to sway or change his mind? Only time will tell.
Absolutely. 10 o'clock cannot come any sooner. Before I let you go, if he does leave, there'll be a big question, of course, around a succession plan. I've seen one name so far that's been bandied about, Jordan Hill-Lewis, the current mayor of Cape Town, relatively young, went up the ranks of the DA very quickly, and one can wonder, I can't help but wonder whether or not, he's ready, essentially, to take over as the leader of the second largest organization in the country.
Well, I think, young, that is very relative in politics. I mean, if you look at some of the political parties that are in the country right now, so how they came about. So, but in this instance, it's someone who has gathered experience. I mean, he's in government, he's the mayor of Cape Town, and I think that's what perhaps the DA would want. But the question is, so will he be accepted by all, and who else will challenge him? I already have a sense that there may be some sort of competition from Gauteng. I think Solem Simang may be aiming for that position as well. So it will actually be quite interesting to see how this unfolds. Because if John Steenhuisen wouldn't have said what he's going to say today, probably this would be a bit more subdued. But now that we expect him to say he will not contest. And Jordan Hill-Lewis had actually indicated that if John Steenhuisen, I'm thinking of Tony Leon, if John Steenhuisen doesn't contest, so he will seriously consider it.
All right.
And I think that is going to be very interesting to see. And that is the name that appears as a front runner. But I think as soon as after today, we should be able to see if there's any other serious contender as well.
Absolutely. Never a dull day, they say,
Absolutely.
and certainly not today. Mzwandile Mbeje, thanks very much indeed. Mzwandile Mbeje is our politics editor here at the SABC. Of course, John Steenhuisen's briefing expected at 10 o'clock this morning.